Should I ring the bell? Where's that? Should I ring the bell?
Should you ring the bell? I guess everyone knows. Let's not do it. Let's just wait. I know what you mean, but it will be a good idea actually to ring the bell, but we don't, yeah, we have only 3 people so far. Hopefully everybody will come in soon. I hope so. I really do hope so.
We've all got 6 things going at once, and it's just kind of how it is. When before Dorothy and I came to EXIT, I used to go to the, weekly meetings, and there was usually 4 of us there, or usually 3 of us there.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, hold on. Excuse me, Зи, just 1 second. Окей, Илюш, я на работе. Ты звонил мне много раз. Что случилось? Ну окей, я тебе не звонила. Я тебе не... Ты все окей? Лиля, ты окей? Ты окей? Все, я работаю. Bye. See you later. See you later. Bye. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Bye. Sorry about that. It's my husband. Yes, what is it you were saying?
I'm just saying it, our previous broker.
Yeah.
Was always the same 3 of us in the weekly meetings.
Only 3.
Well, so others came and went, but it was usually the same core 3.
It's like here, huh?
It's pretty,
Much here the same.
well, I mean, it's, there's this crossover between you're an independent contractor and you're holding to your broker,
Well, I still think that people need to get educated and they
I
need
do
to,
too.
especially in real estate, we have so many changes every time.
But that's why I'm here, but everybody's.
Yeah,
Out there.
not everyone like you, that's for sure. So,
Some people, on certain subjects, I think they think that,
it's not necessary.
old news.
Yeah, people don't take it seriously, that's what I know, just in real estate. They just don't.
It's not the phrase I use.
That's what I use.
I know,
Most
I
of,
No,
people
most of
don't
our
do.
crew here do, but a lot of them like, okay, I've covered that subject, I've taken all the online classes, or I've taken the in-person classes and stuff, so
I talk about my experience working with the entire California,
I know.
so.
I'm just saying that's their thinking,
have a
not
question.
saying I agree with it.
Would you do me a favor, because we will be working with you on that platform we talked about?
Yeah.
Could you please get those handouts and make notes just in case, because you will be working on some of them. Do you understand what I'm saying? If there is a need for notes or something, because it's hard for me to talk, explain, and listen to people, and sometimes I don't make notes after any changes.
I take pretty thorough notes.
So if you want to do it, that will be great.
Sure.
It's those copies that you made that you have, because I think you should, it will help.
Well, I put all these front to back printed to say paper.
It doesn't matter to me
Oh.
as long as you have it next to you, and if there are any changes that you will be involved, it's good for you to have them. Yeah, otherwise we both miss and we'll go around. What did they say? What do we need to do? I don't have that. I want to do it. This is what we need to do, A, B, and C. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm doing great, and how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Everything is okay?
Yes, I was just up in Canada with my son up in Banff and Lake Louise.
Is that right? Oh, you just came back, I see.
Well, I came back, I got Saturday.
Saturday?
Yeah, but after all that, like, you needed a break.
Yeah, I heard
Watch
Canada,
football game, watch football game on Sunday.
Yeah.
I heard Canada is very beautiful country, is that true?
Yeah, West Virginia, yeah, this is the Canadian Rockies, we've been to Gorge.
So they speak English, right? They speak English there.
Everything's in both French and English.
French.
Even in British Columbia and Alberta, everything is always in both French and English.
Isn't Quebec like mostly French?
Yes, the Eastern Canada is much more French speaking, but they love RVing. So I was in with my son there. They love, I mean, the Canadian people, all those RV parks are packed full of RV people touring around. and
Interesting. Yeah, I know it's kind of split country in terms of languages, French and English. That's why I asked.
Yeah.
They divided it up, yeah.
It was kind
But
of.
I was shocked you said there's no exit in. British-
On the west coast. yeah.
Oh, it's really interesting.
Even though Erica, she lives in British Columbia, there's no,
There's just no office.
there's no,
Interesting. Because my first thought was.
they're all in Quebec or Toronto or Mississippi or the other places, it's Nova Scotia is a big.
Yeah. But Margaret, Calgary, when Daniel took it to the airport, Calgary is growing like leaps into all this new construction. I'm surprised.
That's where they fly into Calgary.
Yeah, that's what I flew into, but I, the person, I'm very often.
So what's the main topic?
Yes.
What's the main?
Okay, guys, let's get all the handouts that you have done that we don't interrupt the flow of the meeting. You have already, Raymond kindly gave it to you. And Margaret, could you please get yours?
She's got.
Yours? Oh, she got it, okay. And Nikki, get hers, and we will start.
What's the major topic?
The major topic today is, let's see, I have several of them actually. I have handling the pipeline in terms of a buyer broker representation agreement. I also have the creating the mini processes, how we're going to work about that.
Okay.
So do you have an update, Ms. Margarita?
Or what?
For the buyer broker agreement documentation, you said you will,
I don't,
you don't have any?
no, don't
Okay.
talk about it.
All right,
You're talking about where to put it on pipeline?
yes, you
Yeah,
don't have it yet? Okay, all right.
I haven't thought about
Oh, you haven't?
it. No, I haven't, son of a gun.
Oh, you were
Preoccupied.
thinking about your husband, I see, all this time, I see.
Very.
Oh,
good.
right,
You're
okay.
talking about one of them, and but I'm a little.
Even if it doesn't go through. Yeah, what do you do with the fire broker agreement? How did she review it? I mean, I still think I don't think it should be an individual file. I think that, Z's got one, she puts it up under Z. And as a buyer broker agreement, and then as anything new, she would put into a certain section for you to review. Can we do a category for in pipeline? Can we create, or is it under private docs, or is it, something like that? A section so that.
Let me look into it, but I mean, either that or we just make a whole transaction just for that and everybody has, whatever's in there.
I guess,
I don't know,
I don't know.
but let me look into it and see.
Yeah, because there definitely we need to have some kind of a point where we can check.
Right,
It's agreement, like
Right,
this thing, like purchase,
Right.
so we need to check that.
Yeah.
And
But it could go nowhere.
Right,
So
so
you
we
don't
don't wanna
wanna
make a whole,
nowhere.
yeah, so we don't
That's-
wanna make a whole transaction for it.
Well, that's the problem, and then what's the additional cost of having unlimited files, transactions? So check pipelines.
The only thing that I don't want, for me, it's very important, that you don't dump them again in public or office or I don't know, whatever, because it will be again a mess. I don't want that. I want clear access to, and it's important for you as well.
If it actually goes into a contract, you want it in sales docs.
Sales, everything is the
yes.
same, nothing
Alright.
changes there. I think, do you like the way it works,
Yes.
listing docs?
Mhm.
I think so too,
Yeah, I
very
like that.
good, very good. We have access to the completed copies, we don't
Yeah.
need to look for the good one versus bad one. So this is really good, so this is what we need to really work on, right? Right, okay, very good, so today, we are going to talk about several things which are very important in my mind, at least, hope you support me with that. And let's start with the handout residential listing agreement exclusive, RLA, okay? So we have here paperless pipeline tracking items. The reason I wanted to talk to you about this, because we did talk about that many times. But I want to change the way we track, we document what we're tracking on the pipeline. So let's go over this list and see if there is something we can do to make sure that we have that. So date prepared is very important. And you remember we talked about that because everything goes, all other subsequent documents, anything goes on card form, date prepared when it comes to the contract. So I would like to see date prepared. I also like listing period. Again, this is a law that we need to be sticking to that, so I would like to see that. So that's also very good.
Just for clarification, date prepared is not the date signed, it's not the date signed, it's the date that we as the agent prepare, okay?
It's right here,
Yes,
right?
All right,
So this is the date prepared, and because we go by this date when we look for something, it's important to have it in front of me, so it's good to have it. So listing period also very important. Type of property, we already have that, right? Year built, we already have that. Date investigation reports ordered and paid.
Hold on a
This-
second.
Yeah,
I think we should have that up on the screen,
I was
so,
just thinking that.
I don't
It's-
follow along.
Okay, so
It's the RLA one.
I have.
Well, I understand that, but there's not an RLA here, so if you open the RLA
Oh.
there, then that will help
Like
us
you-
go.
Yeah,
through.
oh, got the contract.
Yeah.
Can you
got
read it again?
Margin, so it's, yeah.
Just read that again real quick.
I'm sorry,
Just read that again real quick for me.
date prepared,
contract
listing
period.
period, type of property, year built.
Got it. Thanks.
The next one was date investigation reports ordered and paid. And this is what I really would like to explain to you guys, whatever we see in the contract, we need to take it very seriously and we need to follow those days, and this is not done, so we need to change that. So residential listing agreement, let's go to page,
Excuse me.
yeah,
When you say you want date prepared and listing period on pipeline, you want it in the transaction on the front when you first
Yeah,
open it, right?
when you open the transaction like you have it, right now you have it, it's great, actually, I see year bill, remember we added that.
Right.
year?
But we don't have listing period there,
No, we don't.
unless people put that in.
And you're talking about the summary at the top.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
not,
okay.
cause that's not in there, per
Right.
se, but unless you type it in like me and,
It's not there,
me and Pauline do it, right?
Yes.
But,
yes.
okay, so do you wanna make a section for it, like your bill?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes, like you did the year bill, we want that as well,
okay, so
okay?
let me circle the ones that are not.
We'll get read it, but you didn't get.
Good morning. So basically what we're looking for right now, and I think it will be really beneficial for all of us, for Margaret especially. If a person comes in to audit the file, they will see exactly what they need to look for. What is it they're looking for? What was the contract really done the way it should be done? What's in the contract should be out there. And that's what we're,
This is
You have
true
it
summary,
on,
like, yeah, can you pull up?
And you could pull up, Trieste, cause that's. what
yeah,
I'm
because
on.
my investigation
Should be
reports
forward.
order, you're thinking the natural hazard and also maybe the home guard, and I don't know what.
Or is that the, like.
okay, we will get to that section so that we all
Okay.
see it.
Okay.
What I meant,
Yeah, look at 1320 Trieste.
So it's
No, go to transactions.
Oh my god. I worked on it from 2 in the morning, no,
Thirteen
actually from the
twenty
game,
Trieste.
it's till 4 in the
Down,
morning,
down,
that's why I went to
down,
sleep.
Down, down, right.
this one,
She's got her.
Yeah, well, she's on it, yeah.
But- But
Okay, here we are.
okay, so Nikki, do you see this? Do you see this? So this is what we changed to, and it's really working very well, right? We see side, we see all that, so I'm not going, we've been through all that.
Okay,
We
so
see
scroll.
all that. If you want this, that's fine, that's great. For my purpose, I need this. Date prepared, we don't have it, so
Okay,
we need to add that it's seen right now.
you want it on the general one though.
right.
So
Yeah.
the listing period is good to know when, because
Right,
this
when
how
it
can.
expires,
Yeah, when it expires, all right?
So
You can put dates.
So I scroll up and I'll show you, or I mean, scroll down, sorry.
Oh, okay.
So right
There you
there,
go, okay.
so I have all the dates in there, right there.
Transaction timeline, date of contract.
No, this is different. This is different.
Well, that's the sale.
The sales, we're talking about listing right now.
The
Okay.
listing.
So listing agreement, this is purchase, no, this is listing, but it's already in contract, under contract. So for listing, let's not analyze this, we just look for where we can put it.
Okay.
Because this is, yeah, I don't want to take time on that, so we need that information on the listing. If you want to put date in, date out, expired, you can put the dates if you want to. Not like November, the whole thing, you can put the date instead of words, if that's easier.
Oh.
That's fine, right? And then, of course, we're talking type of property, we have that, yet bill, we have that. Now, date investigation reports ordered and paid, this is very important, so can we go to RLA now, to page 2, paragraph F3. Page 2, paragraph 8, F3. Please, okay? So what do you see here? You see here investigation reports. Do you see that section? Here you put all the reports that you want to have, and that's what you decided with the seller, right? So it's not only MHD, it's not only prelim, whatever you decide. And then it says right here, seller shall pay, shall order and pay for any reports selected within 5 days, or you put how many days. And this is what we need to have, the date when the report should be ordered or to be ordered, something like that. I want to check if it's been done. Everything in the contract must follow through.
Okay, we can put that in the other.
Yes, that's exactly what I was gonna ask, you make that whole list in other? Is that
It's just
what
the date, it's just the
Well,
date for when the inspections and investigations need to be in. So if I think the standard is 5 days, but I think you can change that if you're changing that in the contract, but by default. We'll just put the 5 days unless it's different.
That's true.
Nikki, I would like to ask you, if it's possible at all, it's just my wish. If it's possible at all, if we can put what I need in one place, it will be easier for me than look through, because it's a lot of information to look through. Do you understand? So for example, listing, if you can label it maybe listing information, listing agreement information, listing contract information. And we don't have a lot actually, just several items there. It will be, because the rest is okay too.
Okay, so then we'll do general and then we'll add a listing agreement one and then put all that info.
Okay, so date HOAs ordered, we have that too here.
It's not,
So go back to that agreement, is HOA is in a separate, it's not F3, where's HOA?
No, it's a separate, I just need to find it, I thought I
Find it
had
on the contract agreement.
Yeah, it's in the
Where's
listing
HOA?
agreement, HOA, I.
Find it out.
It's probably,
this is page 2.
Page 2, you found it?
No.
Get familiar.
no, it's gonna be.
Guys, I apologize, I thought I marked everything, but I guess I missed that one. Alright, okay, so let's move on, it's right here as well, so.
Oh, there it is, it's
Oh,
right
you
there,
found
it is in F3, homeowners association.
Oh, there it is.
Yes, you found it, thank you very much.
So it is, pretty much that's a comprehensive
Yeah.
list of what could be needed.
Okay, so the reason they put it this way, because a lot of issues were with ordering, ordering inspections and doing them on time, things like that, and then sellers went back to the agent and said, I told you, please, I told you to order, and she said, no, you never told, so we need to stop that. So this is how this needs to be done according to the contract, we need to go and do it, that's all. Alright, even if it's one item. Next one, I have manager approval, I would like to add that,
And that would be for
okay, and if
mobile
you,
homes.
no. No, for everything.
no,
Okay, so let's go to our late page five.
Managers.
Page five,
Yeah, right.
number 16, managers approval, I would like to see that. Okay,
Wait.
page
That's our
five,
office, that's our office.
page
Yeah.
five, management approval. So what we will have
Yeah.
here is within 5 days, this should be approved. Okay, within 5 days, but again, the rule is of the office rule to get everything within 24 hours. Okay, that's the rule, and we talked about it every meeting, we talk about that. So please get, now, there is, let me ask you, Marianne, you just kind of got, is it a problem to do that? To get,
Well, I guess you could order them in 24 hours.
no, manager's approval, meaning.
Oh, you
Submitting
were
the
saying
contract.
The initial package, initial listing package, that's what we're talking about, not this.
Okay, oh, well, then I guess it's not, but.
It's not, right?
No.
Everything is signed at one
Yes,
shot
right.
and you just submit, that's all you need
Just
to do.
email it out.
And then you keep adding the documents as they come in signed. Yes,
So manager's approval, do we get like a note saying that's done?
no, you don't need,
Okay.
but if something is wrong, you will hear. Only when something is wrong.
Got it.
Other than that, you keep going with after 5 days, if you don't hear from us,
No
it should be
news is
good to
good
go.
news.
Yeah, no bad news, that's for sure. Is that clear, guys? Alright, let's keep going. So, seller signing authority receipt date, let's go to this one, we keep talking about that. I'm not getting this, again, once it's in the contract, it should be followed and done.
Pages.
But that page is 6, paragraph 21. Okay, page 6, paragraph 21, legally authorized signer. Okay, and
That's also for power of attorney, right?
yes, whatever you have, but no, actually, no,
It's a different one.
it's a different one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we don't have, no, it's not power of attorney. So,
No.
but this is what we are, where we see that II, do you see that? II, seller shall deliver to broker within 3 days after execution of this agreement, evidence of authority to act in that capacity, meaning the signing authority. Okay?
So you're saying, if you have to have that first page of a trust document to go with. the
Wherever it
representative
says, yeah,
Capacity, it's
It's
not
not-
just the representative capacity, it's that there's a documentation to it also.
proof of authority to
Okay.
sign, to deal with you, because again, it was not in our
No.
car forms before, right? Because of a lot of issues we had, they added that. And
Wasn't that the-
we need to honor that, because just to ignore it, it's against everything that I believe it. If it's there, we should do it. So, any questions here? So it may not be just the first page, maybe
So that-
second page, it doesn't matter,
So that's-
Jessica.
That's part of the trust or whatever is going on, or that applies also in like a corporation or something.
Yes,
So
yes.
that,
that's what
and
it
then
says.
there's also that like legal page about that, yeah, they are the approved signer, I don't know what it's called.
Whatever it is,
Got it.
every document may be slightly different because different
Okay.
people put it together, but the fact
There is
is,
a
we want to see that copy, that's how you are kind of abide by law, okay?
You know, and I just wanna make a comment. This seems, I mean, we haven't followed these things before necessarily. But if you end up in court and you have an attorney on the other side that says, well, how come you followed this, but you didn't follow that? Then you're not credible. Your testimony won't be credible. If you
Absolutely,
don't
absolutely.
follow every.
The
step.
attorney on the other side, his job is to prove that you are not competent, competent and credible, and you are not, you should be really punished for your non-diligence, let's say. That's their job, and they will do everything, they will go through every,
Money.
Money,
yeah,
license.
money,
all
license,
this stuff,
everything, yeah.
everything.
And it's public records, it's not good, right? It's not a
Yeah.
good thing, God forbid, to go through this hell. But I had students who went to my classes and brokers mostly, and they went through this, and they said it's really hell, and why people don't really realize how important every letter in the contract.
Well, you understand that also, I mean, the reason I have Berta here is because that, you know, we need to know all these things and we need to follow them, because if one of us, one of you slip up, it's not just your license, it's my license. And because I'm held accountable that this isn't, I wasn't watching it, right? That's why Berta's here, to help me watch it.
Yeah,
because
and
it's a lot of
I,
work.
yeah, and
Oh,
yeah, we
Yeah.
both want you to help us with that, because without you, I cannot do much, but let's keep going, alright. So we're clear here, okay? Now, listing agent visual inspection to seller within 5 days of execution of this agreement. It doesn't say right here, but that's what expected by car legal, that's what they told me, 5 days. So it will be good to have that also as an item to follow. It's extra work, I agree with you. We use most agents, especially the busy one, the active ones, they kind of go through the transaction without, they rely a lot on TCs, unfortunately. No TCs as good as they should be, so I think this particular item is also very important. Because we know from the past, now it's getting better, but from the past, when I first came here, I noticed that a agent visual inspection comes at the very end, right? Nobody was doing it the right way. So the TDS, it comes with TDS. TDS is out, agent visual inspection is out. Alright. Accepted on date, at the time of the contract of the accepted date, we do have that, right? Closes on certain date, we do have that. So we don't need really, just several items for the listing agreement, what we need to add. And that's it for the listing agreement that we need to add. This will be a complete picture. If somebody audits the file, they will see right away the complete picture, what's going on. Again, status change. I have a question for Nikki. Could you please tell me, Nikki, whose job is to change the status when transaction is pending or closed?
Well, Colleen kind of changes her own status, but
Okay.
I change them once I get the closing docs.
Okay, so we still have issues with that, not specifically with closing, but from active to pending and things like that, and closing as well. So not so much anymore, but we need to take care of that because it's very, very misleading, I should say, when I see transaction closes, when in fact it's not closed or it's already closed and it's still active or something like that. So the information I'm getting, sometimes we talked about that before, sometimes it's not consistent. So it's very easy and we need to do that, okay? So please.
It's not supposed to be 24 hours.
No.
Oh.
No, well, it should be reasonable
Okay.
time. Let's say, is it 24 hours? Okay.
I thought that's what I
But-
read, sorry.
We don't
Yeah,
have
on
any
MLS.
specific, yeah, we don't, on MLS, yes, but here we don't have any specific guidelines when, but it should be reasonable. Very reasonable, if you can do it right away and forget about it, that will be the best, okay? Alright. The documents, let's go to the next section, paperless pipeline download requirements. Like I asked before, please download the contract first. No attorney will talk to you until they see the contract, right? The first question they ask, do you have a contract? Let me see it. Otherwise, they will not even talk to you. I want to see the contract because it tells me a lot. So we need to do that. Download related addenda instructions, seller disclosures, investigation reports, they all will follow. But the initial package, the listing initial package, the first purchase initial package should go first. So do you know what the initial package consists of? You do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about
I'm
it.
just wondering if your people are slow, say, to get their trust advisory or whatever, does that mean you're just not putting it on the market until you have all these documents?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the
So-
question.
So say your people don't have their trust, they have trust, they don't have the document to give it to you.
Okay.
And they say, I have to go look for it or whatever. Do we keep it off the market until?
No.
It would still go on the market, we would just make a note here that we're still pending.
Isn't that
Yeah,
kind of
you
scary
request
though? I mean, if you don't really have a legal authority.
Yeah, on one hand, yes, you're absolutely right. It may be your decision where to take it further or just stop until they get you the paperwork. And of course, you may, I'm trying to think how to handle this better. It's a very good point. So, does anyone know, because you work with title companies, I have my own, I know how they work. Your title company, escrow, how do they work? Do they request this right away? Or
Not
they don't
right away.
Necessarily.
No, they request it, but it's, doesn't seem to be right away.
Not right away,
Correct.
okay,
Same with like a death certificate or something, you know, ultimately they'll ask for it,
yeah,
but you're not holding up the listing because of it.
right.
Is some lawyer gonna say you didn't even know if this guy was?
Dead or alive, okay.
Well, dead or alive or had authority to sign, I don't know, it just seems kind of. touchy to
Okay,
me.
so let's
Just
talk about it, because it's one thing, we don't want to lose the listing, right?
Right.
So what are our options to still be within the line of the contract? So maybe to put extra days there, right? It gives you 5 days, but you put 10 days, you put 15 days.
Mhm.
That's probably the best way to handle it, right?
Can you do an addendum to the contract that
Say-
extends those days?
Why would you do that if there is a place on the
So
contract?
I'm just saying is, if
Like
you
if it's,
say
if
five,
it put 6 days and then it came past 6 days and they still
They
haven't
haven't.
gotten it to you.
Then at that time, you will extend that,
okay, you can, okay.
Yeah.
well, Maybe that's the solution.
modification to, there will be
Modification.
modification to the contract, not addendum, right? So
Modification.
because the language is there for
That
you.
might make sense then.
Probably that's the best way to handle, so you ask them, how many days, because we need to follow the law, right? We need to follow the contract, and they say, oh, 5 days will be good, and you will say, all right, I'll give you 6 days, and if you don't get it to me, then we will have to extend, and you will have to do another paperwork, so it's up to you, so kind of put it this way. But definitely we don't want to lose the listing because of that, for sure. All right, so we are all agreed on that. Okay, very good. Next page, so we go to next page, page 2, and it says here proposed categories. Proposed categories, what I meant by that is basically again handling the pipeline. You put it in certain order or not, it's up to you, but this is, I would like to see that. Now, I put here offer, which is a separate subject, we'll start next time, we will start purchase contract, and we'll start with offers, of course. So you may ignore it for now, but this is basically the categories that we look for, is that correct?
Wait a minute. Are you saying these are new categories in pipeline?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no, it's just the order that
Oh, okay.
we are trying to, initial package goes first with, yeah, advisories and things like that, yeah, so it's nothing new. And we're already trying this, but I put it on paper. And the reason I'm doing all this, because after we finish this, we will talk about this new addition to our resources we talked about last time on EXIT website, right?
Yeah, there's a
And we will
resource.
be able to work with Raymond, he will help us, so we'll have really a lot of good things coming. All right, very good, so any questions here? Probably not. Okay, next. So next we have car forms reference list. So interesting, but it's a lot of work, even those several documents that I put here took me quite a bit of time. So I would want to discuss this with you. It's very, very helpful, definitely. So if we have something on that website, like referencing, where do we get information how to handle these forms, right? That will be really good. And I put here different links that will be created and things like that. So if you feel that this is something that is valuable to all of us, then we will make it. We'll add it to that.
Don't they have it on CAR, or they used to have one kind of like this on CAR?
Like the chart.
Yeah, chart like that.
The difference, yeah, you're right. The difference between ours will be, you don't need to go through everything. You will go to the right place right away,
Okay.
because they are all in different places.
Okay.
It's a lot of information, but for example, let's go through each and see what we have here. So disclosure regarding agency and how to handle it. So I gave you summary chart, it will be a link, right? Agency disclosure document, then another link to another one. So all three will give you some idea. So in one place, I think that will be really good. Confirmation of real estate agencies, similar thing. Additional agent acknowledgement. This is the guide that we had before. I don't know if you have it. This guide we had before. So what we will do, we will put a link to this guide. So you go straight how to handle this. It will tell you how to handle this. You see? This is something that I thought might be very helpful. A residential listing agreement, you will see, especially when you get new people, when you try to sell this company to other agents, it will be in one place and we will show what we can do for them to help them. So do you want to do it this way or not?
Looks fine. That's helpful.
Yeah, you do want it? Okay,
Yeah.
very good. All right, and you need, what's your opinion? It will be helpful?
Yeah.
Okay, and Yuzi?
Yep.
And you?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll talk to you about how we are going to handle, but this should be really helpful.
All in favor, say
All in favor. So, but again, you forgot how to handle additional agent acknowledgement. You go to this page, you click on link, and you will see the guide there. So it should be really good, in my opinion. Thank you very much for your support here. All right, next. I'll go to next page, which is if applicable, card forms, if applicable. So let's actually go ahead and go through those forms. We already done that, but not in details. Additional agent acknowledgement, right? We use that a lot. AC, confirmation of real estate agency relationship. My question to you is, when do we use this form? When do we use this form?
And we don't
Listing
check
agreement.
the other one.
Hmm?
We don't check mark a box. in the
Okay,
contracts.
on which form without the checking about your document?
Either the listing or the sale.
Okay, listing sale, all right,
and you ask for one if the other side of the transaction missed it.
okay, so how would you formulate in one sentence, when do we need to use AC?
Always.
No, no. It's not always for sure, it's
When
not.
somebody forgets.
When
to
it hasn't
check the
been done.
box.
When there is a mistake, or there's something missing, only then you use that form. So missing name of the other agent, right? Missing
Wrong
license
DRE.
number,
Wrong TRE.
or wrong DRE number, or missing license number. Only then, do not use this form just because, okay? It's very important that you understand the difference, all right? Addendum, do you remember we talked about addendum versus amendment, right? We did talk about that. So can someone formulate in general, in one word, in one sentence, when do we need to use addendum and amendment, when we use those forms?
Addendum changes something already in the contract and addendum adds it on.
Okay,
First you meant saying amendment, so,
Well,
yeah.
okay,
She's right.
so addendum, say it again, say it again, please.
so a modification changes something already in the contract and an addendum adds something that's not there.
Okay, all right, so amendment we use after the contract is completed, meaning signed, everything is else done, right? Then we start using amendment to the contract, don't miss that. Addendum within this contract kind of negotiation of the contract, so there is not enough room, you add addendum to the contract. So when we talk again, just to summarize this, when we talk again about the contract being the process of negotiations, we use addendum, right? After everything's signed, accepted, everybody's happy, we start using amendment to the contract. We have for buyers, we have for sellers, we have for listing, we have for purchase, we have all of this, we do have those forms. Please make sure you use the right one. What about disclosures if we need to change something? Or add something to the TDS, SPQ, or modify or change, like I said, or remove or whatever. What form do we use?
That's still an amendment.
Amendment, I would use probably addendum,
Okay.
not
The
amendment,
disclosure section.
because amendment is to the contract.
Okay.
Although TDS is also part of the contract.
Correct.
So, let's take another look at amendment form and see if we can use it for TDS. So we can do that.
But now you're confusing me in the modification versus the amendment. The modification,
No.
when does modification happen versus
No.
amendment?
No, it's not versus modification of the form, something, or you modify the
Changes on the
changes to the contract.
Okay.
When it's done during negotiations, we use addendum. Any
Yes, I
changes,
understand, but
Yeah.
further on down here, you have the other two, which is your amendment of an existing agreement and a modification.
no,
of
it's
a-
not and, it's if you need to modify, it's not and, if you need to modify or add something new. So seller wants something, whatever, or seller or buyer wants some, whatever it is, you use amendment. Anytime after you have a contract completed, fully executed, you have
And when you say a contract, we're talking about a sales contract. We're not talking about a listing.
listing as well.
Well, the listing, I think, is a modification, correct?
Yeah.
I don't know, is it said modification?
Well, yeah.
Well, you
So
have to
listing
back,
is a
yeah.
modification of
Listing
listing or
by
buyer
representation.
representation.
MT, yes,
So-
there is another, this is another form, but also we have amendment to the contract as well. Modification, we have this form, it's an old form, it's an old
Oh,
form.
that's the
MT is
modification.
very old form.
Oh,
But the
Oh,
TLA is for the modification of listing agreement, isn't it?
Yeah, they have this form, so the bottom line is, before you write something somewhere, check the form and see if that's suitable enough, that's all I'm saying. Okay, that's clear, alright, very good. Next one, okay, I want to make a note of something very important, seller's instructions. Guys, seller's instructions are very important, right? And I always ask for most of them already in the contract, but there is something else maybe there, that something outside the contract. Seller's instructions, the best time, the very best time to add them when you negotiate listing, when you prepare a listing agreement. That's the very best time really, because later people change stories and all this. So it will be really helpful if you use listing agreement and find out what the instructions may be for you. Above those that already here, okay?
what are you thinking, like showing time, when they say you could only show it in the afternoon?
Yeah,
So that would be part of
Yeah,
seller
yeah,
instructions.
yeah, and also we talked about cleaning, maybe staging, we have forms for that, you use that, but it's very important when you talk to sellers, really ask those questions. Is it good for you to have open houses on those days? Yes, it's good, sign it. Everything they need to sign, everything, every word they say, they need to sign. So prepare for this listing agreement very carefully, guys, in order to avoid issues later, okay? All right, so I wanted to bring this to your attention. The next one we have consent for communication. We have done all the forms. I don't know, do you want to see those forms? We can pull them, no?
Which one?
Although, do you want or you don't?
No, I think we've seen them.
You have seen them. Consent for communications, I highly recommend to use this authorization to receive.
an example of that?
Well,
Yeah.
that's why we need a form to see what it says, yeah. So why don't we pull if we have a question we need to address it?
Yeah,
Please.
Which one? Lou?
CFC, let's see what it says and we will understand better. CFC, consent for communications. Okay,
June of 23.
so it's an old form as well, but they modified it, they changed a little bit. Okay, very good. So what do you see? Why don't you read it for us? It's hard for me to see it. Go ahead, Celeste. Read it.
Broker is a licensed California real estate broker who provides real estate and other related services and products. Broker may conduct these activities on its own or through others working for broker, including broker salespersons, blah, blah, blah. Or any of their employees. Broker and its associates may from time to time want to contact you regarding such services and products. Various state and federal laws, including do not call regulations, may place limits on brokers' ability to communicate with you by mail, telephone, text, email, or other methods. Whether or not those laws would otherwise restrict brokers and associates' ability to communicate with you by signing below, you agree that broker and its associates may contact you at the specified address, telephone number.
Okay, listen up. So we got an idea. I told you, I think I told you the story before, that one of the agents was really sued because he called his client seller office 100 times during the listing period. The guy was fired and the guy sued the agent. So, yeah,
We're calling him too much?
yeah, at his workplace,
Oh,
yes,
okay.
yes. So that was a very interesting story I heard from attorney that I had a lot of stories from him, but that one I remember. So that since then I added to my checklist this form because you need to ask your client, show me the numbers, phone numbers, show me where can I call, where. That's why we have this form, okay? So yes, it's if applicable, if you need it, but I would make it on your list, absolutely.
And then you could send this off to escrow maybe when they do their SI, right? Because they're gonna ask this person for, when you have a contract, they're gonna ask this person for all this information again.
Okay, escrow has their own forms. I would not do that.
Well,
There's
they
abs-
usually ask us for contact information, how do we get a hold of your? client?
Yes, you're right, you're right.
That's what
If
she's
that's
saying.
what you're talking about,
Yes.
if they ask you, send them this form.
Yeah.
If they don't ask you, don't do it. Okay, so this is a really good form, guys. Nobody using this, and I keep preaching, please start using it. Very good. Let's go to the next one, which is authorization to receive and convey information. Very important form. We're not using it. ARC. ARC.
We used to use it very heavily during short sale time.
ARC. So we're not using this. Highly recommend to use it. Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks.
Please read it for us.
Well, that's what's gotta bring
I
it.
gotta repeat it.
Right up yet.
Ah, there's nothing to read.
That's another.
I didn't see the back of my neck.
June 23. All right. So it says the broker is a licensed California real estate broker, provides services on its own or through others working for the broker, including the salesperson, employees, assistants. Broker represents me as the seller or buyer in the sale, purchase of the following property, or not yet determined. I authorize the broker and associates, blah, 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 to request, receive, and convey information, including TILA, RESPA, integrated disclosures, and other disclosures from and to the following persons or entities in connection with the representation of me and, if applicable, the sale, purchase of the property described above. So we've got the insurance provider, the lender, the appraiser, the inspector, government,
Homeowner association.
the utility, the homeowners association, wow, wow,
Wow.
I've never seen this form.
Okay, so I highly recommend you start using this
So
form.
this is the seller allowing us to work with all these third parties.
Or buyer.
Buyer as well.
Yeah. Yeah, we're talking about listings, but yeah, it could be the buyer.
Okay, so again,
Like I said, we used to use, that's been updated, but there was a different one, it was much simpler. Didn't include all of those, but during short sale time, we were negotiating short sales.
you use this a
Yeah.
lot, I always use this, so again, this is a little bit more work, I understand that. But on the other hand, when you look at those forms and you think the first thought you have, oh my God, this is so much work for me, there's so much time, so much asking from the other person to sign. Believe me, guys, I keep telling you this, if you explain the beauty of those forms and how they protect them, and you of course as well, you will be able to be very persuasive if you believe in that. I want you to think about the car forms as this. What makes American military the strongest in the world? A lot of things, right? It's
The money.
it's money, it's training, it's personality, characters, you know.
Logistics.
It's psychology, it's a lot of things, but one of the things is tools, right? Very powerful tools. That's what make American soldiers so great. Now, this is our tools. This is our tools. The more the great tools actually, the more that we use them, the stronger we are, the better off we are. All right, very good. ESV, we have electronic signature verification for third parties. Let's take a look at this one as well, please.
Boy, this one we should do too. This is your approval to do a DocuSign, right?
Right.
I mean, I've seen a lot of other people use their own documents for these type of things, not the car ones, but
You mean like Coldwell Banker has their own?
yeah, like Helen Williams would have like a disclosure on electronic signatures saying, please read all the documents, make sure you're understanding before you e-sign type of thing.
It's also here in the documents, in our contracts as well.
ESV.
ESV, electronic signature verification for third parties.
Should we have them sign it electronic?
You gotta have them sign it in person first, and then have them sign everything else electronically.
Some forms, if you don't see the people in person, you may send them all the samples. It will be a good idea to send them before you even meet with them, all the samples and.
Oh yeah, do not sign electronically.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, who would like to read it?
Oh, I mean, that.
It doesn't really need, there's
I mean,
nothing really.
that-
There's nothing to.
It's just literally,
You at least have to put them to sign this for us.
Principal has used electronic signature technology model. Okay,
it's.
principal who uses principal verifies because documents no longer initial principal, in fact executed by the principal. Yeah, this is a good form. This is, go on, please. What does it say? Is a party of principal? Okay.
It's literally just this, just
Yeah.
principle is using.
Yeah. So, here is, what brought this form to life? What gave it birth, right?
Well, I'm sure it was a loss.
So let's say you're dealing with older people. Older people, that might be one issue with seniors, right? They don't know, they don't use it, and then they are asked to sign electronically. So that might be a problem as well. So I think this is a very good form just to confirm that they agree to that and things like that. Next one, PVR, photo and video agreement and release. Again, we talked about this form, we have a copy of it. Excellent form, it protects you guys so much. It talks about all kinds of things that we never even thought could make an issue and be a legal issue, a legal problem. So again, highly recommend for you to use this one. Assignment of agreement addendum. This form, if we have time, we will work on it today because it has this form, assignment, has several pages, the entire process, how to handle this. So if we have time left, we'll do it, if not next time. So again, we need to know how correctly we will get back to it. We talked about MT, we talked about property images agreement, the same thing. So the value is incredible value of those forms.
Okay, so wait a minute, so you got the PVR and the PIA, how are they different?
PVR talks about certain things. And I don't remember all of them, but it's a little bit different from this one. Why don't you pull it up?
Yeah, I think the
One should
PVR is,
cover
I think PVR is more
That's-
for the like the release of the online photos and that it's out of our hands as agents once it goes on.
I believe
they
it's
can be
more than
done.
that. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Yeah. Let's take a look. Then we'll not assume things or anything like that. Okay, so let's go through sections, images, right? REL has with subject permission, either directly or through others taking more photos and so on, permitted use. REL may use the image to market the subject, so that gives you their license to use their images. Ownership, REL is the owner of the images, and any what is it? Derivative work resulting therefrom and retains all the rights to the images. So see, we didn't know that,
I
right?
didn't know we owned it, okay.
Yeah, they own it. That means,
But to be fair, if you hire a photographer, they own
They own them,
it,
right.
yes.
and then I don't know.
Yeah, the photographers own them,
Really?
but we paid for them.
You pay for the licensing to use them, but unless you get a contract saying that you own the physical material, then you're only paying for a license.
No,
to
you're
use
right,
those
because
photos.
in our, like, okay, we, they're there for a certain amount of time, after that, they go away and you have to pay,
But
get them
it-
back.
But you're saying the seller can't say you cannot use those
Yes, correct.
pictures because you as. a
Based on the,
real
because it's
estate
their property.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so that's very important for these days. And then you have roaches or messages, okay, adults, the following persons who are in the image are 18 years or older, and you need to put the name. Children, minors,
That's
the
what's-
following persons who are in the image under the age of 18, you should put the name. Pets, you see, effect of release.
Does that apply to if there's pictures of the family in the home?
I guess technically, if you
Oh,
like,
yeah.
if you post on social media, like
Right.
sold for my clients, like technically you probably should be using this.
Oh,
And I don't think a lot of it
That's
is ours.
absolutely.
Nikki's asking a different question though, what if they have a family portrait above the fireplace?
Oh.
And you take a picture above the fireplace?
That's
Well,
why I
this-
have to
this
tell
covers
them to
all
take 'em
that.
down.
And then we have
Yeah.
here effect of release, I for myself.
But the only thing is, no one has been using this for like the last. Their entire careers.
And this company is different, that's what
Right.
Margaret will tell people, we're so much caring about your safety, that's why we're using so many forms, right? Okay,
All right, let's see if that, okay.
so that's
So
clear.
now we wanna check the other
That's
one.
fine, yeah, that
the
seems
PIA.
to cover everything, let's go check the other
Let's
one and see.
check the
if
other
we take
one.
it off our list.
Yeah.
That's the PIA, property images agreement.
Owners.
Here, down there.
That one with the photographer.
PIA.
Yeah,
That's the one, yeah, because I remember there's two, it's an agreement between you.
This is between you and
Yeah, for the
photographer,
images.
this is different between you.
Oh.
I remember now,
Yeah.
after looking at this one, I remember what the other one is all about.
Let's see what it said. Why do I need it? That's the
Yeah.
question.
June of 21, it's pretty old.
I beg your pardon.
Well, if it was important.
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
you need the
Photographer,
photographer, okay. Compensation and payment, well, they sent us, yeah.
So honestly, I think this one might actually be where you can actually own the rights.
Grant
the rights.
Assignment agreement,
Yeah.
photographer hereby irrevocably assigns and transfers all of them worldwide right. I don't.
Yeah, so this is where, if you use this with your photographer, you can own your photos.
So you need the photographer to sign it?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you wanna own the photos, if you don't really care about it,
And he.
then you can just
So,
not. use it.
again, if you're sitting in front of attorney and you're already nervous, so nervous, so out of this, and he's asking you, are you familiar with previous form and this one, and you said yes, what is it all about? Why didn't you show this to because you have a fiduciary to your client? Why didn't you show it to the seller? Why didn't you get, because of the pictures caused something somewhere? And I think I told you before that there is a not, don't know, department or a person or whatever at those DRE place and some other places where they actually have people who look at the social media looking for agents' mistakes. Everything is on.
This
the
one is
social-
actually really important too, drone use. You have to make sure that they are licensed.
Yeah.
But this is between. the agent
Photographer and the
And the
agent.
Photographer, the other one is
It's
between.
the seller.
Seller
So
and
that's the difference.
the agent, yes.
Right.
So again, I highly recommend you to add to our daily checklist as a must forms to be protected.
I'll tell you where, the homeowners association would want you to have this, because they complained about the drones going over all the other homes, right? So you better have approval to use the drone.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, that's, the homeowners association can still limit your use of
They
drones,
could,
even if you have this,
they
like
could,
it's,
so you better
yeah.
understand whether they allow them or not.
So it's a lot of things that will help you to avoid legal issues, definitely, if you use those forms. Okay, let's move on to the next one. I put here ITA, interpreter translator agreement.
This was actually interesting to me.
Which one?
The interpreter,
did you
yeah.
just sign? Oh,
Yeah.
no, but she doesn't want to do a
I've been
sign.
using it for many years. It's a very old form, very old form. I've been using it with when I have had Russian speaking clients. I've been using that form. I never used it with someone else. I just don't recall. But I recall using with Russian speaking. So this form is because you use a lot of times you use clients who do not speak really English, right?
Wow, I mean, I'm thinking of all the Spanish.
Yeah, Spanish mostly.
yeah.
This area is more Spanish speaking,
Yeah.
right? So you may start looking into this form because it's giving you that power, put the responsibility, liability from you to them. Because it gives them the ability to bring someone who interprets, who explains what the forms are all about and things like that, they interpret into their language, so that might be a good way to.
Does this allow them to waive using an interpreter? Or-
No,
No.
no, it doesn't give you the chance to waive. The interpreter, it tells you exactly what you need to do. For example, a representation, interpreter translates fluently, speaks and reads. So all those the requirements for, it can be a family member, it can be a family member, it can be anyone they
Well,
know.
what if the agent themselves speak Spanish?
No, don't do that.
You can't be the interpreter if you're a party to the contract.
Don't do that, okay? Agent, don't do that. You will be much better off if they bring someone on.
So let me just say, like JC and Edgar, they're fluent Spanish speakers. You're saying they should not be interpreter for their clients.
I understand your question. What I'm saying is this. Yes, I speak fluently Russian, right? But when I have people, and I had before, when they didn't speak English, just very little, there is no level of English language or mastery of this language to understand all that. I always ask for the interpreter for them.
A third-party interpreter.
Yeah, they
Whether
needed
it's a
to,
family member or son,
Wow.
daughter, whatever.
that's what I have done.
Because they have to usually translate the entire contracts.
So what you do, you explain, they need to interpret. You explain, they need to interpret. So if Edgar does not, if Edgar sees a client who doesn't speak English, it's not a good idea for him to sit and translate. It's not.
Why don't
No,
have a problem?
it's-
Because I didn't
and
speak
it's-
any language.
It's not so much that he translates, it's that they don't speak, it's that they prefer to use their own language, and that's why they always prefer
Right,
Spanish, because I mean, I get them and I say, no, I don't speak English, do you not speak English? Yes, but I prefer. They always say they prefer to have
if they
someone
don't,
speaking in their language.
if they don't speak English, it's not, remember for life now, it's not a good idea to ask your fellow agent who speaks English, who speaks Spanish, for example, come on and do that. No agents involved. They need to, this form gives you that power to push travel from you to them. This form gives this power. Okay? So it's amazing, but that's the reality. So if you don't use this form and take it upon yourself, again, it's a result of a lawsuit, you may be fined liable later. Okay? Yeah, it's tough. And not everybody can handle that pressure, agents, not everyone. They need to leave the industry. Only strong people who have really love for this job, really dedication to their clients can move on and use the forms. Yes, it's a lot, but you don't use them right at once, 20 forms at once. You kind of break them in bundles, so to say. But it's worth doing it. Yeah, it's worth doing it. Yeah, see, they put here interpreter translator is not being paid for the services. This is also very important apparently. We are not lawyers, we don't know, but they put here everything that comes up in court. Who pays, who interprets, how did you do that, what did you say? Every single word they will pull out of you if you sit in front of a attorney. Terrible, terrible, absolutely terrible. That's their job, yeah, and that's my job to tell you the truth. That's my job to tell you the truth, how it is. All right. So, amendment of existing agreement terms, we talk about, MT is it? We talked about MT double, I'm sorry. And then other agreements, we have CLM, sell instructions to exclude listing from MLS. Let's take a look at this. We have this in the listing agreement, right? Sell instructions, we have that somewhere in the listing agreement. So I would like you to make sure that we use that on time at the time of the listing negotiations, right?
Right.
It will be a good idea to use the form and use it properly. SELI, so instruction to exclude listing from internet. The same thing, use the right forms. I believe those forms go to MLS, is that correct?
I think just the exclude on the MLS listing.
SELM, right? Goes to MLS.
Oh, the internet is when you put it on.
It's like an off market, right?
I think that we were supposed to send it to the MLS.
Yes, because when you
yes.
sign a contract, you're supposed to have it published within MLS within
Yes,
a
yes.
certain time frame.
Oh,
If you're
that's-
excluding
and
it,
if
you
you're
have to send,
excluding it, you send this document.
Yeah, you send this document as authority for them to do that.
Okay.
And I highly recommend to use SELI from website because they put the property automatically on several websites,
Yeah.
right? And you want that. So if they do this, the seller doesn't want that. Yeah,
So you're saying within 24 hours?
Yes.
You're.
Yeah, I
you're
believe
back to
that's
that
the
24
MLS rule, is that correct? 24 hours, right? Okay,
I just don't know the
Is it the
mechanics
same
of
form?
excluding from the internet, they're two different forms.
This is IA,
There's
this
a
is, so.
checkbox when you, in your listing details on the yeah.
Yeah, I know there's a checkbox.
because
don't
I
know
think
how good
maybe
it is.
excluding from the MLS and excluding from the internet are different for that. If you want it on the MLS, but you don't want MLS to syndicate to like Zillow and
Yeah,
IDX.
exactly.
Margaret's just wondering, how does the MLS, when you fill it all out, how does the MLS know which ones get posted to Zillow or not?
well,
There has to be something. in
Because you would send that
Because-
form, the excluding from the internet form.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're,
Because if
No,
you
no.
send the SELI without the SELM, they'll still put it on MLS, but not send out the photos to the
Not
Zillow and
They
everything
will
like that.
well, that's what I'm wondering, how they restrict it, and we'd have to ask MLS.
yeah, we need to ask MLS, yeah.
But because like Z is saying, when you put something on MLS, it asks, okay, you're gonna put the full address, the whatever.
There's a checkbox.
Yeah, there's check boxes for the IDX or.
So maybe it
Wow.
flags it.
Yes, Val. Anyway, but I don't know how that connects there, and then also, that MLS feeds, exit, which feeds there.
Right.
So.
if you exclude it from the internet, you're excluding it from exit also.
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
Yes, you
That's a
exclude
good-
from everything,
That's a
any
good-
IDX
So
feed.
I'm wondering
Not so
about
sure
that.
about
That's a
that.
good question.
Yes, it's a good question.
Because exit would be our own company, right?
Right.
If you decided you didn't want it on Zillow and Realtor.com, but you did want it on the exit website, because that's our own company, we should understand how the MLS is gonna handle that.
I think it did go to exit.
I think they are not really in a position to dictate as how to handle, it's up to the broker, that's my opinion.
Yeah, your own listing.
Because
how you market it.
Margaret owns the listing, if she wants to put it on the website
No,
without
no,
paying,
no, it's not about that. No, 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 no.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed.
Yeah, it's not our personal, or not our company website, I'm talking about Exit Realty International website.
Oh, yeah, no,
Where it syndicates to
it
Exit,
would,
where it
because
comes back.
it wouldn't go on the IDX. If you sent the SELI, it won't go on the IDX for any real estate company to use on their IDX.
Not even,
feeds.
that's
Not even
my
Exit.
point, not
Yeah.
even Exit, so we would not have the access to the Exit suite.
Correct.
Yeah, the expert marketing.
Unless it's a way
suite.
for us to add it individually to our own platform, where it's just our company website.
Internally,
do it.
that's what I thought we can do internally,
Yeah,
without
Yeah.
any dates, just to like coming soon or something like that, yeah.
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
Z.
Zee.
I think it does go to exit.
Well,
I don't remember having a problem doing my flyers.
but did you send in the SELI?
Yes.
Oh.
No, well, no, I checked it on the MLS.
Oh.
That said, don't send on internet. As far as I recall, it did go to exit,
let's,
Okay, well, that's good to find out that.
but double
More
check.
research.
but
Yeah.
then when Exit has it, they syndicate out to Zillow and everybody, so that's the interesting question. Cause we can't go into the Zillow and add a listing when we're exit agents. We
Right.
have to, it
We
comes,
just add it to the LMLS and it'll go to Zillow at some point.
but it goes through.
Through
It
MLS.
goes through exit first and then it syndicates to Zillow. That's the way it works.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I could be wrong, obviously.
Okay,
I just know that when you try to add a current listing or something, you can add past sales and they connect. But when you try to add a listing that or modify it, you can't do that at the Zillow level. It has to be at the exit level. And then it-
okay, I know
Or the
that.
MLS,
Right, so we don't know that. Alright, so.
So wait, that, just real quick, so that's what I'm saying at the MLS level, so if you change something on the MLS, it's gonna ultimately change exit also. Because exit probably pulls that feed like zip, and then you're saying exit sends to, like open houses, when you post open houses.
Yeah.
Exit must, automatically take that feed numerous times.
When you check the box on the,
Something into the exit site.
Yeah, good.
when you check the box on the MLS, it asks for a date range.
Okay, all right, that's good, that's good to find out.
Alright, and then another one we have here, KLA for listing, I hope you're using this form. And of course, RCSD, I noticed that you do use this form, which is very good. NBIP, notice of involved properties, it's very important these days to use this form. And DEDA.
What does that mean? Yeah, we're all right, let's go back.
Oh,
Yeah, I forget what that is.
We don't notice them all property.
Ladies, okay,
No, I got it.
which form you want to go with?
NBIP.
Yep.
NBIP, let's. Okay, so this form gives you representation period, compensation agreement, so it's regarding the BRP of, what is it, BR?
BRBC.
Oh, this
BRBC,
is, oh,
yes.
this has to do with the broker, with
Yeah,
the
this
buyer.
is buyer, yeah,
Oh,
it should not be here, I apologize.
That's why I'm confused.
Yeah, I confused you, please forgive me. Yeah, this goes with the buyer, and we'll pick later. Let's try DEDA, please, DEDA. Let's see what it says. Remy, would you like to read it? Yes, because my neck is there. So what it is all about?
We'll let you know.
Okay, I'm waiting.
It's kind of like the DHEA that we take as a sub.
DEDA.
I know.
What?
It's
It's
like.
Okay, let's take a look.
So it's maybe used to establish or change a designated electronic delivery address. So I guess maybe if they change emails during the contract.
Or
It's
they want you to send it to somebody else. Yeah.
Okay,
Buyer's
so,
agent,
so if this happens, you can use the form, if not, you don't need to use it.
yeah. Definitely not. It's not a, can't happen.
Okay, so this is basically all the forms that that I want to talk about. And last point I would like to make about the listing agreement is this. I would like you to make sure that you use every single form that is right here, we use it. So it's not too many forms like we have in RPA, of course, but there are still several and
Shorter document.
yeah, that's right. And also, we already covered quite a bit, almost everything. There's one form that I would like us to take a look at. It's called let's look at OH, this one, OH and ASI.
Open house something.
The non-agency or the open house advisory?
So we have under, okay, let's do this, let's go to page 5 of RLA and take a look at this paragraph D first. It does talk about buyers, this RLA now, it does talk about.
You said page 5?
Page 5D is dog. Unrepresented buyers.
No, 5 of the listing agreement, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Represented buyers.
Okay, so as you can see here, it says broker shall provide such buyers at the earliest practicable time, a disclosure of non-representation, such a buyer non-agency, card BNA, or open house visitor non-agency disclosure and sign in. Interesting, so those forms should be used as well, so let's add them to this list, please, to this list. List, yeah.
I'm sorry, wait, when you take a list, I mean, I used it in our open house, but you're saying that the seller needs to sign, go back down, does the seller need to sign it?
Yeah.
I didn't think so.
Let's take a look, maybe I don't remember, let's take a look at both of them, let's look, buy non-agency, let's take a look, it's right here, why not?
Cause I didn't have the seller sign it, I had all the people came into the open house sign it, but I didn't.
Well, let's
have the
take a look
seller
at
sign
it, maybe you're right, I don't remember.
But it's showing up on the RLA, so. why
Yes.
is it-
Because it just means that you're supposed to use that when you have people come into the open house. This is. Okay,
Oh, right, so-
OH, yeah.
OH
Open
and
house.
What, maybe I used the wrong
Oh,
one.
there's 2 there.
Yeah, there's the advisory, the open house advisory, but
which should be given, by the way, to the seller.
Right.
So they
Should
know
be
what the
given to
whole
seller.
settlement.
Okay,
Open
I
house
didn't do that. I
advisory.
So
didn't
there's one
get
that's
the
the
advice.
visitor and one that's the open house.
Yeah,
Visitor, non-agency, and the question is, does the seller need to
yeah, we
sign?
can take a look at the bottom and
I mean,
see.
yeah, there's a showing one and an
no,
open.
it's just the people that are coming in,
Right.
basically.
So you're right, you're good.
Yeah, but the other one I didn't use, the advisory.
Let's take
I
a look
didn't-
at the
The advisory.
advisory as well, yes, please. But we all know what we're talking
So
about.
it refers to it in the listing, but it doesn't mean.
Yeah, it just means you should use it if the situation arises where it needs to, which is the open house. But
I don't think you have to have one opener.
Well, it's gonna arise. People
Right.
still, I mean, there's still a lot of people.
unless
wandering
your
into open houses.
seller doesn't wanna do open houses.
Yeah, right.
That's something.
It's great wandering around there.
Wow,
Okay, recording devices, yeah, so
this
it's
is,
more for the buyer.
this is old, June
Mhm.
20th.
So,
I know.
June of 2020, yeah, this is pretty
Oh,
old.
that's for the buyer.
It's, yeah, this is for the buyer.
Uh,
Or maybe
That came out
both.
for- That came out for COVID, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, no, this is also for the visitor, this is for the visitor of the open house, just showing that, yeah, anyone that comes in, that there may be audio recording.
Yes. Isn't that in the visitor?
It's a good idea to give it to the seller, guys. A
Yeah.
really good idea.
Just they get a copy of it.
When
and then-
when you read this whole thing, you will see so many benefits for the seller to be aware of. So we will add that as well.
There's a place where you just.
And signs it, I'm saying,
This is just for people that come in.
the visitor. Yeah,
Visitors.
just for visit,
Okay, I think what you should do though is have the seller acknowledge that's part of their package, right? So maybe
Absolutely.
just a little initial.
Like we do
thought
on
or
the
signature.
reports, something like that, we do reports, signature date.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will be really helpful. Again, it would, guys, the more information, that's what attorneys tell everyone who they teach or consult. The more information you give them, it's their responsibility to read, understand. You push trouble from you to them.
Yeah.
That's what,
So-
that's the beauty.
So this list. This is a list that we want in the Exit Resource Center as a reference guide.
All right, well, actually, since I wanted to talk about it, so we have right now the listing.
Okay.
Checklist, right?
On pipeline.
On pipeline, this is
Okay.
from the pipeline.
Yes.
So what I would like to do, and that's why I brought it up today, because I would like to make sure that we cover it as best we can, the best we can, and my suggestion is to take everything we talked about today and add to this list right here. Also, we will create a list on the platform, on the website platform, and we have the listing checklist, and you will put every single one that we talked about in addition to this.
And you have two categories, must have and if
Yeah.
applicable.
Yeah, so there are several if applicable, but again, so those forms that we talked about today, I think it's a must, it should be a must, in my opinion. Right, when you don't think so, when you
No,
talk,
I'm just trying to think.
well, when you,
maintain
for
and
example,
whatever.
if you talk to the photographer, for example. It's a good idea to have that agreement between them, so that you own the
But
images.
it's our own reference, so for the office, so the question is, I have the question. The validity of having them, or the benefit of having them in two places. So
Oh, there is a big benefit to that, I'll tell you why I think
because
so.
if we update, we have to make sure to
Yeah.
update both places.
Yeah, I understand, but it's still not too much work for the value that you're offering. We talked about that last time, not too many agents really like to go to pipeline, they don't know how to operate. But to have a resource center where they click and they see everything in front of them,
Okay.
they love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that last time,
Okay.
and Kanye was far for, for it all the
I
way.
think so, but you're saying this list we just went through, some of them you have IA next to
Yes,
it, but
yes.
you like them enough that
Yes,
you're saying
yes.
all of these are must-haves.
Yes, most of them must have on my list. Of course, they added 60 more forms they added. 60, I will bring you that article I read it from. And so they added 60 more forms, so it's many forms, but again, there is no way for us to really do a very professional job and feel strong and good about our job without forms. We cannot do that, guys. You may think you're okay, but God forbid if something happens, you will see.
So if, and I'm just a paper person, it would be good to have a resource binder in the office, maybe with all of these forms in the office right here. So somebody could
No,
come
just
in.
open your Exit Resource Center, that's where they're gonna be, and you can print it from there.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So you're gonna put all of these forms on.
Yes.
Or just the
list.
name,
The
list.
just the name.
Yes.
I was just gonna say a binder, a reference binder that has a copy of all the forms.
That's fine.
So people could
Check
understand
with
why
that
it's
too.
for.
It's up to Margaret.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Okay, and
If
I
it
just-
helps an agent, it's fine.
Yeah,
and my suggestion is to have company policies and procedures on that resource as well.
I agree.
That they go, they read it, they know what they're responsible for, and they eventually they need to sign it, everybody needs to sign, including.
so let me ask a stupid question. So if we had an agent that did not have CAR, you know, and they got a listing, would they just need to be using an agent that, you know, if somebody in our office does not pay for CAR, they're not,
They're not an active agent.
then they're not an active
They're
agent,
not an
so,
active agent.
so they could do a co-listing, can they do a co-listing?
They're a referral agent.
No, so that they can't do a co-listing then, they can do a
No,
referral.
they're
Only a
referral.
referral,
Yes.
that's what
Referral
my
agent,
question
yes.
is, yeah, they're only a referral agent, they cannot be a co-listing agent either, okay.
Right. Every time you join the company, one of the requirements to join association.
Right.
Once you join association, you need to join, car is a part
Yes,
of
right,
association
right,
fees
right,
actually, so. And we need to use them, we're paying for that, why not
Yeah,
use
yeah.
their work, right? Alright, okay, so here is what we covered, that's it, I don't want to go back to this car forms for listing agreement anymore.
No, we're done.
We're done, we're really done. Okay, so I don't want to do it again, okay.
It's
Next,
recorded, so if you want to see
Next.
it again, you can see it.
next.
It works, you need to try it out.
Yeah, one moment, I thought I'm done. So we have under, I believe, I think Nikki will tell us exactly. We have the list of advisories on our checklist, is that correct? We do, so make sure that we use those advisories for both. Plus the new ones as well, but make sure we have the advisories as well. You don't have them in this package because we've done it in the past training session. But this is, let me really quickly read them, it's not too many. I would like you to use statewide buyer and seller advisory, market condition. Use of non-standard forms advisory, square footage and lot size advisory. Confidentiality and non-disclosure agreement, disclosure information advisory. Disclosure modification to listing agreement, electronic signature, we talked about that, photo,
We don't have it.
property.
Read it off.
Okay, so I will give you this package. And you will compare to see if we have all that. So those advisories must be at all times, okay? And by the way, one more thing that you need to remember, every time, please listen to this very carefully, because this is important. And not too many understand that. Every time you have a listing agreement or a purchase agreement, if you go to the section where you put the forms, remember there is a section here? Somewhere. Again, you can find it, it's right here. Advisories, addenda, section here. Remember, every time you put the form and the other party signs it, they're responsible for signing the form. If you don't put it right here, they're not responsible, you cannot make them sign.
What are you saying?
Well,
There's a check mark, what?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is a list of forums, you can add that, you can
Right.
make an addendum of the forums, you can create a list of forms. And give them that they need to sign explaining that you will getting them in kind of bundles or something. But guys, remember that,
So what are you saying? If there's, in addition to those, there are others that.
we discussed. They're not here,
What page and section is that?
this is page 2, paragraph.
Yeah, we just see what we're.
Well, go ahead, agreement, but you're saying there's a few listed there, but the office has a required list that needs to be
Yes.
added.
So my point even goes further. I want to make sure it's further, you understand?
Okay, right there.
The other person,
Page 2, Philip.
Sure.
the other person is must sign when he signs the agreement. That means that they are liable if they don't sign it. You sign the agreement, you sign that you will do A, B, C, D according to the agreement, like with anything else, you need to sign the forms. Now, you don't understand, Margaret?
No, I don't know, I'm not following, so are we on this section here?
These
Advisories and
advisories.
addenda?
She's just saying there's many other advisories that the office requires
That's not.
than those 4 that are listed there.
Okay,
Lots of other ones.
so.
So you should be writing in the other.
So write it other and it'll
Oh,
just
we have
go
to
to
put
an
in
info,
other.
right?
Because
So
the
it goes
issue
from
is if
overflow.
they're not in here, then they're not responsible for signing off on those.
Okay.
Unless it's
All
in this
all right,
contract.
well,
But
that's
can you
what I didn't
add
hear.
that, I don't know, maybe one page in paperless pipeline or something, so that when we see that, we'll know which ones, because
Yeah, it's
not gonna
the
memorize
checklist, no, it's a
all of these
checklist,
other ones.
right, it's the
That you-
checklist that will send, and that checklist that will be on the exit source resource,
Resources.
it will be
So
there,
when you start typing in other, does it go to the overflow?
yeah.
But you
Yeah.
listed like 10 of them.
Or,
Right, yeah,
or,
sorry.
you can create this addendum and list all of them and make copies, and that's it, you don't need to do it every time, the same thing.
Okay.
The key here, let
The
me,
addendum, blah, blah.
yeah,
Other.
listen, guys,
Okay.
the key of my explanation is this, when you're working with someone else, they are responsible for their agreement to something in the contract. If you give them tons of forms later, legally, they can say, no, I'm not going to sign them. That's the key, and nobody knows that. That's the key, right? Once you sign it, you make them sign.
Yes, because you could go back to your original listing agreement and
Yes,
say, you
yes.
told me way back
Yes.
when that you would sign this.
And the same thing goes with all other disclosures coming from, or disclosures that you need to show everything. But do they need to sign if it's not in the purchase contract? No. They can, we talked about that, they can only acknowledge they received it. So we talked about that, received, signed, that's it. But if it's a part of the purchase agreement, that's what I do, then they have to sign it, they cannot say no. And if you are not getting a response from the agent who is not who didn't make it a part of the contract, and you're not getting or didn't make a part of the contract, you're not getting the response from the agent with a signed copy, you can give me a signed copy, give me a signed copy, they can say no. We received it, that's all there is to it.
Okay,
And that's
so-
what's happened.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So the
That's
others
such
that
a
are
experience.
required by exit? Is it in the resource center already?
We don't
What do
have
you
it
mean
here.
exit international or
No.
exit?
Right,
Key
our
stuff.
our
Oh.
office.
Oh, okay.
She
By
just
market.
listed like 12 of them, she just read off like 12 of them.
So if I get a listing, I wanna go and make sure I have them all, is
No,
it already
it
listed?
will be.
They will very
It's
soon.
work
Alright.
process.
We will work
That's
with Raymond, he's very good, I think, at technology, he will do it fast, he will,
Alright.
well, we will run by Margaret, then we'll show you, so everything will be fine. Don't
Coming
worry.
soon.
This is coming soon, so, but the key thing is, do not expect somebody else's signature if it's not part of the
Yes,
contract
but that,
or
but-
counter offer.
But
or
if you
whatever.
get a purchase offer, you're saying you can actually counter the purchase offer with that whole list. If you counter your purchase offer with that whole list, that is a demand to the buyer that
yes.
they must sign
Yes,
them.
yes,
Not
yes,
just receive
yes.
them.
Yes,
Okay,
do you understand?
yeah.
And that's what came up in lawsuits, because, nobody's doing it right. The right way is, yes, disclosures, you need to show everything you get from the other side, yes, you need to show. That's no question
That's what
about
I do
that.
in property management.
Yeah.
Every form that they sign is listed on the agreement.
Yeah,
I
I
saw
had that
that.
happen
Yeah.
in commercial where.
I saw
they
that,
have money
on
for
property
it.
management,
No,
I saw
but
that, you're right, you're right.
Yeah.
So, but that's my point, okay? All right,
Okay.
very good, very good. So let's continue then. So, and then we have here, guide to proper handling of forms and processes. So let's take a look at this one. This is what I propose, to have in our resource center, okay? And I want to know if you want me to do that for as many forms as I.
I'm sorry, what form are we on?
We're talking about guide, okay, everybody is there? All right. So it says here, we talked about last time, but I modified this a little bit, and that will be final if we agree. This is what it is. It is common for the seller to prepare the seller's disclosures soon after signing the listing agreement issue. From the time the seller lists the property and sells the property, the above disclosure may not be up to date. Agents allow the disclosures to be sent to the buyers without asking the seller to review and update them. In turn, this may create serious legal issues for the seller and the agent, okay? All right, so, I'm sorry, my voice, how long does it take for the disclosures to be considered outdated? We don't know, nobody tells us, but we think that reasonable number is 3 months, okay? So we talked about last time, let's go over it very quickly. If you have the listing that is going on and on and on and on and on, right? So you can do two things, either you update the disclosures once in 2-3 months, 2 months maybe, or you do the update, absolutely, you do the update before you give it to the buyer when you have one. Now,
But on that note, I mean, isn't there a place to say that makes sense to say, here was their first version and here was their second version, updated version, which like on Disclosure.io, would you literally take the old SPQ off and put the new SPQ on? Or would you keep the old SPQ and call it version 1? Or
No, that's complicated. The only thing you need to do, I think, that's my opinion. The only thing will work probably easier if you ask, you need to send the disclosures to the seller, the entire disclosure package that you originally received. Okay, you send the entire package to the seller and say, review it, explain how important it is, and make sure that it's all good. And then seller will have to say, to get back to you, that disclosures reviewed as of this date. Nothing to noted, no new changes, updates, nothing like that. Something like that probably
Okay.
will be better.
But if there are changes.
But if there are changes, then it will be addendum to SPQ
Okay. then
or
just do
addendum
it.
to
Oh,
TDS.
Got it. They won't redo it, they will just addendum it. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
yeah. So, and then of course, the updated package, you will send it to, even if he doesn't touch it, but he put the date that he updated, this is how you push trouble from you to him, to the seller.
But I'm just thinking of like Disclosure.io where they're all listed there. We want the other agents to know what the most recent one is.
Well, when you add it to Disclosure.io, then it flags the people who downloaded them that there's updates.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
if they
And
opt in that
also-
section.
And also, again, we will talk about it again when we talk about purchase contract, but when you represent the buyer, it's please do not miss the step, always look for the date when you get a disclosure package. Agents just pass it, don't do that. Get this disclosure package first, review it for accuracy, dates and what it says there, maybe something is missing, you cannot just pass it. You need to review it. That's
But
our duty.
Doesn't
Fiduciary
the
duty.
buyer have access that they can sign in and look themselves?
But not everybody is using disclosure cycle,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Not everyone, so no matter what, you may say, you may put there that you are getting the package first. Do not send it to the buyer, then you forward, but you need to check the date. If it's outdated, like 4 months, 5 months, God, don't even what I do, even with 3 months, I ask them to let me know if there are any updates, that's what I do. Okay,
So
Alright.
clearly, if you're gonna pull something off the market for 30 days and then come back on the
Yeah.
market, all of that needs to be.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
So your example here, needs to be, captured in an addendum, what you have here. And that addendum needs to go to NHD and title company for them to sign. This is one.
No.
Okay, so you're saying review and confirm in writing that there are no changes to the disclosures.
Okay,
So do you,
that's what we talked about.
right, so I'm just talking about the documentation. Do you create an addendum
For an
and
HD,
put this? All of this in here, you got NHD, title companies, so this needs to go out to each of those.
yeah,
And have them sign
Yes.
this addendum.
they need to send you email, not addendum, no.
Right.
The email will be fine, or they have a document, whatever they form, it doesn't matter. This first part talks about us, okay? Then you need to double check with preliminary with title, and then NHD, you need to ask them to send you that there are no updates, please. Because sometimes properties sit in the market for 12 months sometimes. So, and agents just give everything they got 12 months ago to the buyer. That's a big no, right? Now we know that. So Margaret, you missed this. What we are doing here right now, I am presenting the process for which form we're at. updating TDS SPQ for this source. Let's go and read it and see if you like it and if you want me to continue guys this manner, okay? You want to have those mini processes. Nikki, could you do me a favor and read it? I can.
I can't really see it. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
I'll read it.
Oh, you don't have glasses.
No.
Do you want mine?
No.
No.
Guide to proper handling, right?
Card, VP, verification of, oh, wait a second, no, where we are? The process, the process is right here, page 2. Back page. Pauline, can you read it for us?
This one here?
Yeah, page 2.
Okay. The
Yeah.
example,
No, review and confirm the steps.
review and confirming in writing that there are no changes to the disclosures, example, addendum. And then the example is per seller's review of the following disclosures, list disclosures. The seller has confirmed that the following disclosures are up to date as of whatever the date is. And then number 2, document all changes, if any. Example, addendum to TDS. Number 3, contact NHD and the title company and ask to confirm in writing that the preliminary title report and NHD report are current as of this date. Number 4, updated disclosure information should be provided to the buyer per CAR RPA and get it signed. Number 5, upload to the pipeline.
So that's basically the steps of the process I put together. Is this okay with you? That will help if you need to find out. That will, if you like this way, that I will continue doing these mini processes for different things that I can find on card. Is that okay? Everybody okay with that? All right.
Only thing that
Okay, very good. Let's go the VP. Marianne, could you please?
All right, VP, verification of property condition, key points. The buyer's right to inspect the property ends when the contingency period ends.
Just a second, please. Did you know that, guys?
no.
You didn't. So once the contingency period ends, and we will talk about that, that's why you don't know yet. Nobody can enter the property without seller's permission. They
Without
cannot,
permission, okay.
without permission.
Okay, so somebody wants to measure for their
Up to
current
that,
use, they do not can't go in, okay.
Yeah,
Well, they can
Without
go with
permission.
permission.
Number 2, the RPA gives the buyer the right to inspect the property within the last 5 days prior to the close of escrow as the last chance to determine if the seller complied with the terms of the contract. Number 3, this last inspection does not create new contingencies or can delay the close of escrow. Number 4, if there are items that still need to be completed by the seller, the buyer should document them on this form and can take legal action. Number 5, if the buyer does not want to conduct this final inspection, an appropriate box is to be checked on the form, which is waiving it. Number 6, if you are a listing agent and must receive this document from your buyer, but do not get it per the RPA, document your attempt to receive it. File all your reminders, email, phone communication, and inform your client about the situation.
okay, so. That's what it is. If you like this, kind of mini process, I will continue doing this for other. So, and we can certainly, what I put here, like add this, add that, like links. What I mean is those that I got from CAR, so we will add those explanations and something like.
Thanks.
The only one thing I have to say, because I've seen it before, so I've gone, like when I did. Other ones, but this, your buyer could put a whole list of 17 things down, and then your seller has to sign it. So your seller knows that this document exists with 17 issues. And the seller may choose not to sign it. That is, could be an issue.
Oh, okay, so this document addresses this, but I just showed it for you, right?
Yeah, you're saying they can take legal action, your seller knows that they're gonna take legal action on that too, right?
I don't know.
As long as you tell me.
Yeah, if he is educated enough, then yes. But this document tells you that at the time of the final inspection, nothing will preclude from closing. It's not the point, he can take legal action afterwards, okay? And that's the education that you guys need to
Well,
provide.
I'm wondering what
Every
happens
step.
if the seller doesn't wanna sign.
Document
That's-
that.
You just document.
Yeah, just document.
Okay.
So this is very important. Everything that we talked about today is extremely important in my opinion. I also have amendment versus addendum versus amendment. Let's do that as well. So we have that quick note or quick guide.
So when you could do the verification of property condition, what you can do if there is something and that you should work on is getting agreement on how to handle what still needs to be done, or whether it's a credit, whether it's I mean, you could try to solve that and get an agreement first. Hold back money in escrow until, after close, that's done, then you can release the money, the buyer can.
Yeah.
So I mean, try to solve it.
I agree, it may not work because the
Right.
timing is very pressing at that time.
Right.
It's only several days left before closing. However, if you're a good agent, what I would do is go on the first day, not on the fifth day, on the first day, to give yourself time and explain all this to your client. That's what will happen, that's what we'll do. It's better for you to do this, better for you to do that. That's the value, because they need guidance. They don't know this.
Yeah.
That's the value we have as agents, and those ones who just drive through, it's not working well.
But if it's something that's serious that the buyer finds and he wants credit or whatever, and the seller doesn't agree to it,
Then you close escrow,
Still
you take them to small claims, the buyer takes them to small claims afterwards. That's
Yeah.
the realty.
Everything happens from that
Or-
point on afterwards,
mediation.
after close of escrow. It's not nothing, then please don't tell your seller, don't think you can get out of it, or buyer can get out, no, you can't. Legally, this is contract. But again, the preparation for every step, what I do, guys, I always send email telling them, okay, close of escrow. What I do, I send them email, go to RPA, read those paragraphs again, I point out the paragraphs about closing of escrow or contingency removal or this or that. That's how I work. That's how I do. So I push trouble from me. I'm reminding them of what they need to know, because they will not go. Most likely they will not read it. Who cares? I have done my work, my job. Same doctors, they tell you what to do, you don't want to do it, they document that, that's it, goodbye. So,
Then you come back with another problem.
yeah.
But we did have one where escrow held $1,000 because there was stuff that was not done, the place closed. I mean, 9 months later, they went to small claims court. I mean, and
Yeah.
we were totally out of it at that point in
Absolutely,
time. It's really
absolutely.
then the buyer who goes to small. claims court.
Absolutely. It's a good idea, of course, to go, let's say it's really something substantial that seller needs to do. It's a good idea for the buyer's agent to go and check prior to 5 days and see what's going on, because that's what I do. I go and check if something substantial needs to be done or nothing, absolutely nothing. So what you do, you send the reminder to the other agent. I have visited the property with my client. As of today, nothing has been done. Remind you that that's what needs to be done by the time so you do a lot of extra
Okay,
work
alright.
to protect yourself.
So, okay, but we'll go back because the buyer is not allowed on the property or doesn't have the right to without seller approval. Authorization, so I mean, that's all. We would like to do a walkthrough, see how things are going.
You
You know.
can ask that permission. If
Yeah.
they refuse, that's another way for you. Again, you try.
Yeah.
That's what attorneys are doing. That's every step they're kind of, dissecting. What can you do, what you didn't do, and that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
You need to be more proactive, more, not just, oh, we got the contract, goodbye, thank you. No,
But I thought I heard you say you could go personally as the agent, maybe, you could ask for permission to go in 10 days before closing.
yeah,
All the contingencies have been removed and you could say, oh shit, right, and then you could start putting pressure on the
yeah,
other.
yeah. But definitely when it's something substantial that you're aware of, you can also maybe negotiate $1,000 towards this type of work, find out how much it can be, or ask your seller or ask your buyer. You can do a lot, guys,
Right.
to show that you are really true professional who cares about them. And that's how you sell yourself, that you just don't go through this window quickly just because you got the contract. I hate those agents who do that. I hate them.
Oh.
I am very particular, so when I see such a.
Really?
I do, I do.
You're kidding.
I do really.
Yeah, it's hard.
When anywhere, in any profession, if I don't see diligence, if I don't see dedication, then you're not in the right place.
Professional.
You need to be professional.
Yeah.
And you are getting a lot of money by the end of the day, really. So, okay, so the last thing we have addendum versus amendment. Let's do it very quickly. Celeste, please read it very quickly for us.
Addendum, addition, attachment, supplement, use addendum at the time of the offer negotiations and or when there is not enough room when you use the main document. Amendment, change, modification, and revision, use CAR AEA. When the buyer's offer has been accepted and the contract has been created. This form has also an expiration date and acceptance date to watch for.
Okay, so this is mini explanation, mini process, whatever you can call it. But that's what we will put on that with, of course, with a copy of the document, link to this document. Okay. All right, any questions? Anything that I can help you to understand? I hope I can.
Additional agent acknowledgement.
Yes, this is along the process, so we don't have time.
Oh,
for it.
okay.
So we will do it next time. Okay, so we will do it next time and we will start starting with offer. I'll show you something you probably don't know. Okay, all right, if no questions, thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate everyone coming to the training.
So next Tuesday is our guest speaker, sales meeting, and the guest speaker is
Yes.
Robert Brand.
Yes.
Teaches risk management
In disclosure.
in disclosure, so
In
we have
disclosure.
him coming in via Zoom,
Yeah,
so
it's very
I look
cool.
forward to
Yeah.
everybody
very cool.
being